Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. What I have here is a parcel. Now this isn't an unboxing video necessarily. This is I am doing a sort of unboxing I suppose, but the purpose of today's video is to talk about really inexpensive Chinese fountain pens. Now I went onto one seller on eBay and picked 5 absolutely random pens. Now I have most of these pens in my collection already, I've used them, but what I wanted to show you was as they come out of the package, so you get a sense of, if you've never bought from China, how things might be packaged, but also I'm going to ink all these up and I'm going to use the same ink, which will be hilariously Mont Blanc Midnight Blue, and I'm going to do a writing sample with them because what I want to show is how these write out of the box, and I thought with 5 it'll give you an idea of sort of what you can expect. I'm not going to tune the nibs, I'm going to literally write with them straight out of the box onto paper and we'll see how we go. So let's open this up and see what we've got. Okay, so the first one we have here is the Jinhao 992. Now as you can see, this comes just simply in a plastic slip. I believe this, yeah, this is the Jinhao 992, and I got the blue plastic version, the non-see-through one, and yeah, it has a nice little, generally a nice little number 5 fine nib on it, and it's a pretty basic pen, you know, modelled off other brands and all that sort of stuff, of course, and rebranded by another American brand with one of their own, with their own nibs and everything, but the same model pen. Next, what do we have? We have, what is this? I can't remember exactly which model number this is. I think it's Winsome. Yeah, it's a wing. You can, I don't know if you can see that there on the top of the cap there. Can't exactly remember the model number. Oh, 3010, right there. I should have seen that. 3010. I've got a couple of these. I've actually swapped these out with, in my own collection, swapped them out for Lamy nibs. They come with a Lamy style fine nib. Once again, just in, all these just come in a plastic slip. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Next is the Jinhao 991. This is a pen that I really quite like the nib of, but the pen body themselves leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, it's prone to cracking, and it's just not particularly great plastic. But generally it's a slightly wider nib. It's 0.5, so it's sort of like a medium fine as opposed to just straight up fine. But we'll see how that goes as well. So I'm going to ink all these up off camera and I'll sort of cut between the two, but we'll see how we go. Wow, that's a bright pen. That's actually sort of cool. This is the Winsome 3003. Has an extra fine nib, and it's a pen model I actually quite like. I have one of these that I have inked up most of the time with Noodler's Heart of Darkness. I used it for my bullet journaling for a long time. I think they write really well. They're generally pretty reliable. These are all cartridge converter pens, as far as I'm aware, that I've chosen. I literally chose 5 random, the first 5 pens that came up, and I think the total came to about $10.60 Australian, including postage. So we're not talking anything remotely expensive here at all. But yeah, I really quite like this model, modelled vaguely off the Pilot Prera. I've got a video coming up, or just come out, I can't remember what order I'm filming these in, where I compare the Pilot Prera and the Winsome 3003. Next, lastly, we have the Jinhao Shark Pen. A cool pen actually. I really quite like it. One of the major US online retailers has started stocking these because they are a pretty reliable, pretty decent pen. Another fine nib. Same, I think vaguely it's supposed to be the same nib that's on the 992. But a really cool model of pen, and a pretty decent size pen. I think that converter's not seated in that at all. Oh, that's tight. So actually that's not sitting very securely, but all these have to do is last out one inking and one writing sample from my perspective. But yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll link up all these 5 pens, then do a quick writing sample with them just to see how they write, literally straight out of the box, nothing done, not flushed, not anything, what you can expect straight out from these 5 inexpensive Chinese-made fountain pens. Well, here we are with the 5 pens now all inked. I haven't done full fills on them, just enough so that we can get an idea as to how they write. But these are the pens. Here is the Rhodia, and let's get started. So here we are, firstly with the Jinhao 992. This was a game changer pen in the lower end of the Chinese market. It sort of forced a lot of companies into actually producing pens that were of high quality at this price range. So it's got what is considered a fairly decent number, sort of small number 5 or so nib on there, 4-5 nib. And let's see if it writes. Oh, it's not exactly. Oh, it's warming up. Okay, 992, and the ink in all of these will be Mont Blanc Midnight Blue. Okay, so this actually isn't writing too bad now. Had a bit of a hard start there to get it going, and there are a few sort of hard starts happening. The feed is not. This feed would not keep up, I don't think. But you know, I think with a little bit of work you could easily get that writing. But an excellent case in point of straight out of the box, a pen at this price range obviously isn't going to write always as well as a more expensive pen. Let's move on to the next one. The Winsome 3010. Another excellent case in point. Now, obviously, sometimes you're going to get these pens and they're going to write perfectly straight out of the box. If you do a little bit of pressure, there we go. I've managed to get some more ink down, but you can see that's basically sprung the nib. But it has opened up the tines to allow some ink through. So the Winsome 3010, horrible writing. Sorry. Yeah, like the tines were probably a little sort of too close, and the pen was just going to be super dry. But just by basically springing the tines, I've been able to open it up. And actually, it's not actually a bad writer. It's fairly pleasant. It's fairly fine, but not a bad pen really in the scheme of things. Certainly worse. Then let's go to the Jinhao. What did I say this was? The Jinhao 991. I think it is. Give me a second. Yes, the Jinhao 991. Not the 911, that's another pen. Jinhao 991. So some sort of rough writing there. But when it does lay down a line, it's actually quite a nice line. And it's actually writing quite smoothly now. There is some feedback on the nib, and it's sort of dry, especially the faster you write. Not actually doing any writing, but just to give an example. But when you slow down and you write sort of carefully, you actually do get a fairly nice line out of that. 2 more to go. An interesting experiment in a lot of ways, I suppose. We'll go to the Winsome 3003, this incredibly bright yellow-green fluoro colour. So this is, sorry, that was out of frame, very dry, very scratchy. Once again, the more deliberate you are, the better, but that's not necessarily reliable. If I open up the tines a little bit, Just a second. So it's a little better. Actually, it's still hard starting. It's not. The quality control on these Chinese pens is incredibly hit and miss. And that's the point of making this video. We've all had great pens that have come straight out of the packet from China, and then you get pens that sort of write okay, need a bit of work. But none of these pens have written ideally straight out of the box. And last one is the Jinhao Shark. This is the best of the lot by far. So this is laying down a fairly even line of ink. It's not overly sort of smooth, but it is writing consistently. It's putting down a decent amount of ink, and in my opinion, out of the 5 that I got here today, this is the one that I would probably write with if I was going to write with any of them. I've done nothing to the nib, I've done nothing to any of these nibs. This is literally as they came out of the packet. So yeah, interesting. The Jinhao Shark pen here taking first prize of these 5 pens. With a bit of work on any of these, they would end up writing perfectly fine. The issue here is that the quality control going into the packet is not always 100% up to scratch. Nib alignment issues, feed and nib out of alignment, all that sort of stuff. Just generally sort of fairly dry pens as well. But they can be made wetter, they can be opened up, and with a little bit of work, if you're willing to do that, if you're happy to do that, it's there to be done. And for probably around $2 Australian per pen, including postage, you can get a pen that writes pretty well if you're willing to accept the fact that some will be duds. And a couple of these are not particularly great. I'll probably work on a couple of them just out of my own interest's sake, but yeah, it's a great example of what happens when you buy pens from China. If you can find lower end or less expensive pens, from other brands, things like the school pens from Faber-Castell would write better than any of these straight out of the box. These are mass produced, thousands of them at like $2. So you are paying a bit more for the Franklin Christoph. Paid a lot more for Franklin Christoph. You are paying a bit more for the Faber-Castell, but you are going to get a pen that's going to write a little bit more consistently and still isn't going to probably break the budget too much. But anyway, I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. Find me on Instagram or Twitter. I am at @the_offstage_me. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, please get in touch and let me know. Or if you've got a way you'd like to support this channel, please drop me a message and let's see what we can do. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you later.